Phoenix Books presents
The Last of the Mohicans by James Fenimore Cooper. It was a feature peculiar to the colonial wars of North America that the toils and dangers of the wilderness were to be encountered before the adverse hosts could meet. A wide and impervious boundary of forests severed the possessions of the hostile provinces of France and England. Perhaps no district can furnish a livelier picture of the cruelty and fierceness of the savage warfare of those periods than the country which lies between the headwaters of the Hudson and the adjacent lakes. It became the bloody arena in which most of the battles for the mastery of the colonies were contested. It was in this scene of strife that the incidents we relate occurred, during the third year of the war which England and France last waged for the possession of a country that neither was destined to retain. The colonists believed that the yells of the savages mingled with every fitful gust of wind that issued from the forests. The terrific character of their merciless enemies increased immeasurably the natural horrors of warfare. When, therefore, intelligence was received at the fort which covered the southern termination between the Hudson and the lakes, that Montcalm had been seen moving up the Champlain with an army numerous as the leaves of the trees, its truth was admitted with more of the craven reluctance of fear than with the stern joy that a warrior should feel in finding an enemy within reach of his blow. The news had been brought by an Indian runner, who also bore an urgent request from Monroe, the commander of a work on the shore of the Holy Lake, for a speedy and powerful reinforcement. The distance between these two posts was less than 5 leagues. One of these, William Henry, was held by the veteran Scotsman Monroe, with a regiment too small to make head against the formidable power that Montcalm was leading. At the other, Fort Edward, lay General Webb, who commanded a body of more than 5,000 men. This officer might have arrayed nearly double that number of combatants against the Frenchmen, who had ventured so far from his reinforcements. But under the influence of their degraded fortunes, both officers and men appeared better disposed to await the approach of their antagonists than to resist the progress of their march. A chosen detachment of 1,500 men was to depart with the dawn for William Henry. The heavy sleep of the army was broken by the rolling of the warning drums. In an instant the whole camp was in motion. The main body of the combatants wheeled into column and left the encampment with a show of military bearing. But there still remained the signs of another departure, before a log cabin of unusual size and accommodations. At a respectful distance from this unusual show were gathered groups of idlers. There was one man, however, who, by his countenance and action, formed a marked exception. This individual was to the last degree ungainly. Erect, his stature surpassed that of his fellows. His head was large, his shoulders narrow, his...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?